As part of Ferrari Fridays, William Ross from the Exotic Car Marketplace will be discussing all things Ferrari and interviewing people that live and breathe the Ferrari brand. Topics range from road cars to racing, drivers to owners, as well as auctions, private sales, and trends in the collector market.
And welcome back to the Ferrari Marketplace Podcast. I'm your host, William Ross. We're presented by the Exotic Car Marketplace for everything exotic cars, from Ferrari and Porsche to Lamborghini and Koenigsegg. Check out exoticcarmarketplace.com. Check out the Motoring Podcast Network, the family of Automotive podcasts. If you're into anything with wheels and a motor, this is a site to check out. So head on over to motoringpodcast.net. Also, slot mods for the coolest slot car tracks in the world. Check out slotmods.com and let your imagination run wild. And Grand Touring Motorsports, covering all aspects of auto racing. And be sure to check out their monthly e-zine at gtmotorsports.org. All the links are up in the description. Now, on to this week's topic. I'm going to talk about something that's really annoying to me, and that is automotive YouTubers. For those of you that watch Tyler Hoover, I just saw it this morning, and I don't know if it dropped yesterday, but they kind of did one because I can't remember the website, but the website did one like the top 10 most annoying things about automotive YouTubers. So I want to say they beat me to the punch, but I'm getting more specific in regards to YouTubers that I guess utilize Ferrari as their talking point or thumbnail or whatever you want to call it. And there's quite a few of them out there. Now, well, I should say, I think it's on April's Garage. His new girlfriend, partner, I don't know what you want to call her, someone who kind of came out of the blue. Tyler divorced his wife, and also now he's living with this person in Nebraska or Kansas, wherever he lives. She's riding his coattails to having a successful YouTube channel. Not saying it's wrong, but, I'm not sure how far she would have got on her own, but hey, to each their own. They were discussing it, going over the ones, and, there were some ones in there I'm going to touch on too as well. I'm not going to get into naming names. I'm not going to sling mud like that. But what I'm just going to talk about is the topic. And there's a few of them that really just annoy the shit out of me. Pardon my French. It's baffling how people get sucked into these things in regards to looking at the thumbnail and whatnot, because especially the ones that, whatever the title of the thumbnail is, has absolutely nothing to do with the video. And it's like talking about hardship or talking about this or talking about that. And it's just like you get into watching, it's like it has nothing to do with it. That's not even the topic you're talking about in the video. I don't get it, but I'm an older guy. I'm going to be 55 here in another month or so. So my mind works and brain works a little more differently than these teenagers and 20-some-year-olds that these things get sucked into and watch. They want to hear all the loud bangs and pops and people just drifting cars and whatnot. We kind of like to talk to the more mature audience, people that like to learn about things. If you go over to my channel, you'll see that we hit up a bunch of events. We try and check out automotive people that are building stuff, creating stuff, and get more about their story and find out about them. That's just me. Will I get 1 million subscribers? No, probably not. It would have to be a miracle. We can hopefully get a decent amount. But anyways, that's a whole nother argument anyways too. But onward. First thing I want to talk about, one thing that annoys me, you see the thumbnail, title screen, whatever you want to call it, and the person touts out, I bought the cheapest in the United States, or I bought the cheapest in the UK, wherever it's at, wherever they're shooting it. One, that's kind of a ballsy statement to say that you bought the cheapest, because did you really? I mean, where'd you buy it from? I mean, just do a kind of a quick Google search on Auto Tempest, and say, all right, I'm going to just have them sort by the cheapest to the highest price and go that route. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure if you did a little digging, you find something cheaper. But again, that just drives me nuts and you see it all the time. I bought the cheapest this or that. So they get, let's find out what's wrong with it. That kind of stuff. Something that's going to have a high mileage. I don't care if you're buying a Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever like that. Yeah, it's got high mileage. You're going to have it. You could buy an Astrovan that's got 200,000 miles on it cheaply for $500. It's going to have things wrong. It's just an old car. And it just annoys the heck out of me because you see it all the time. I don't want to say people aren't creative enough, but, obviously having to come out with content continuously. Because once one does it, then sure as heck enough, you're going to see multiple ones in the coming weeks. People doing the same thing. Oh, I'm going to write that one because they look at, they got all these views. They got all these likes. So I'm going to do that too, but can't do the same car, so I'm going to do something different. They go find something different, or maybe they just find the same brand, just a different model within that brand and do it. That just drives me insane because you buy it and then they just do a little TLC and, then, hey, there it is. It's always interesting. And you see some of them do it, though. But once that's done, that falls off the radar. That car's gone. It's history. You don't see it anymore. Well, it's what happened to it. You'll see other videos down the road where you see it in the background, whatnot like that. It's like, why don't you go into about, okay, now you did all that. Why don't you turn around and resell it? And let's see if you made some money or whatnot. Is it still the cheapest? What you got into it. And another thing, as a side note, that also drives me insane, when these guys work up pricing on it, I'm not going to, again, name names, but, you'll have some of them, they'll start going, okay, car costs this part costs that, this cost that. They are not including a labor rate in those numbers. So they're like, oh, look, I ended up getting this thing for basically $20,000 below market, what they're going for, and I fix it up, da-da-da. Well, yeah, but how many hours in total, not just you, but everyone that helped you, went into doing that? If you got 500 hours total amongst you and whoever else is doing it at a standard labor rate, especially on an exotic car, $150 an hour, even go on the lower end, $125 an hour, do that math. That adds a chunk of change to that total, but they just don't include that in there. Very deceptive, and you would hope that people would catch that and realize, well, wait a minute. If I took that to a shop to get everything done, they're also going to charge me a labor rate because these people don't work for free. They're not shooting YouTube channels where they're hoping that, they get 500,000 views and, they get their ad return on it from YouTube and they get a check from that. Drives me nuts and seeing these guys do this stuff. Next one that really bugs me, now we're going to get specifically talking about Ferraris. There's a very large channel out there, and you guys probably better figure this out, claiming it's the only Ferrari drift car, Ferrari F12 race car out there, blah, blah, blah. How do you know that? You're just making this statement. Now, don't get me wrong. What they built and created is really cool. I mean, they did a heck of a job. And, well, I should say the one individual that built it for them, that they had hired and brought into it, did a phenomenal job. And it kind of sucked he left. And again, you guys can probably figure out who I'm talking about. And kudos to him, though, to go live his life. Him and his family, they had, a mission. They had a dream of what they want to do, and then he went and did it. Not to say that he won't be back. I have a feeling that in a year or two he'll be back because they'll probably start to wear a bit thin, sailing around the world, doing whatever, and living on a boat. I'm sure that can get old after a while, especially, it'll be one thing if it's just you and your wife, you and your spouse, you and your partner, whatever. But, they got 2 kids, all this kind of stuff, younger kids, everything like that. I mean, who's going to homeschool? I mean, you have all these tangibles. I could see that starting to wear real thin. The guy's got gasoline running through his veins. It wouldn't surprise me to see him back in a year or two doing some things like, we're taking a break from sailing or this and that. We got to come back. We're taking a break for this, whoever. But again, going back to them, they're making that statement that this is the only one in the world. And again, I find that hard to believe. When someone makes a bold statement like that, how much research did they get into in regards to that? Because you guarantee there's someone else out there that took that car. Now, did they go to the extreme they did? No, probably not. I mean, these guys stripped this down, built the tube chassis, everything like that, and just basically, bolted the panels back on and everything like that. But I mean, it's a phenomenal build. And what he's doing with everything like that is fantastic. My opinion, they're getting a little fake about everything. The content becomes more, you have to cater to your crowd because, to their point, is overhead, everything like that, and then you got to bring in the money to be able to do these builds, everything like that. But getting a little cheesy. Now, I know off camera, everything, these guys are not as enthusiastic, I guess you could say, or not as, I mean, they're good guys. It's just that who they cater to, I'd love to see their demographics on their views and stuff like that because it's obviously a very, very younger crowd. And the main people on the channel, they're in their 40s. So, they're not young, but you see what works and then you stick with it. And then, I don't want to say you get pigeonholed, but you kind of got to follow that path because all of a sudden you become enslaved to what you're putting out there on your channel. Because, hey, again, hits, everything like that, you're getting driven by views and hits and likes and everything like that. So, it's something to watch. But again, I would really hope and wish that when someone makes statements like that, it's like, did anyone else go out and look? I mean, obviously we know there's other Ferrari race cars out there. You buy them from the factory, people did them up themselves, and like that. Is the likelihood there's another F12 type race car out there? Probably somewhere. Someone that doesn't splash their life all over God's creation on a YouTube channel. But, making that statement, as I said, I'm waiting for it to all of a sudden pop up somewhere, somehow. Someone says, well, I built one 10 years ago, something along those lines. Again, probably not as extreme because these guys went crazy with what they built. I mean, it's super cool what they built. I'd love to drive the thing. It's got to be a blast. Again, making statements like that just kind of irk me a bit. Are you sure that's the only one? But again, you're driven by your thumbnail. You're driven by, traffic. You got to drive. So you got to make something that's bold and makes a statement like that. But next, we are going to talk about someone who, she gets tons of views. And now I just said it, it's a female. I can't watch the thing because the way she talks, that just drives me insane. And how many views and whatever and subscribers she's got, I mean, I don't know. It's baffling. But this person did a video a while back about Ferrari wanting to buy back her Ferrari. And I think it says, Ferrari wants my car back or blah, 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 or wants to buy back my car. Bullshit. One, it was modded beyond all belief. It had a body kit on it, all this stuff. I didn't like it. I'm sure the younger generation, younger crowd, they thought, oh, it's so cool, but I'm a purist. But to make that statement, because the dealer, if it was an actual authorized Ferrari dealer, and they bought that car back, whatever, Ferrari would probably take their dealership license away, because what they did to that car goes against everything Ferrari is about and stands for. And if you're familiar with it, they have no issues throwing out cease and desist for people doing stuff to their cars. They're very, very, how can I say this correctly, protective of their brand, logo, and everything like that out in the marketplace. Making that kind of statement is just, I saw that and I just started laughing hysterically because it's like, no, they did not. It was a used car dealer that deals in exotic cars and that, and wanted to get it back because, one, they were going to ride the coattails of saying, hey, we have so-and-so's old car here for sale. And that's going to drive hit stuff. Now, are a lot of those people able to buy and afford that car? No. But they probably would sell it quick, or they might just sit on it for a bit and advertise it and put some stupid number on it. But it would, give them a lot of exposure, so it'd be a good investment on their part. But to make the statement that Ferrari themselves wanted to buy it back, no, I don't think so. And again, it's sad because people will see that thumbnail and see the title and be like, oh, wow, man, Ferrari wanted to buy her car back. Oh, that's so cool. I mean, that tells you right there, Ferrari digs it. Bullshit. And again, hey, you can put whatever the heck you want on your thumbnail and your videos, everything like that. It's just baffling, though, that people fall for that. Again, they might just want to watch and see the car, whatnot. I don't know. See the content. I don't know. But I just don't get it, how someone puts that statement out there. It falls back on you. It falls back on that person. They might have people they hired and work for that person that creates all that stuff, does their video editing, does all our stuff, creates a thumbnail, then puts it out there. But again, it's your name attached to that. So now this, tag is put on you, so to speak, that, you're making these type of statements, even though you didn't create the statement, you didn't create the thumbnail, you didn't, but you did the content. It's tied to you. You're the face of it. You're the face of that brand. So whatever you put out there comes back on you. Doesn't matter who your workers, bees, whatever, put up together or whatnot. It's going to come back on you. I'm more cautious about stuff like that. I mean, I don't like making weird statements like that. And I don't know, maybe that's why my channel doesn't grow as fast as I'd like it to. But again, statements like that just drive me insane. I mean, and this person's been known to do a few other ones that have just been just so wrong. But again, what can you do? It's what people do. It's just, again, it's all about driving traffic to their YouTube channel. It's just unbelievable. And here's the other thing that drives me insane. You get these people, and obviously their families got just boatloads of money. Hey, if they made it on their own, hey, there's a few guys out there that, hey, they built it from the ground up, and God bless them. They busted their ass. Were able to afford this stuff. But what I can't stand is you get these guys, kids, obviously it's daddy's money, family money. And again, they're so detached from reality in regards to just everything. They don't know about real world, real life. There's a couple channels out there. There's a father and son They're rebuilding, I think it's a 458. They don't have a lot of subscribers or anything like that, but I like the challenge because it's really cool to see. It's a father-son. They bought it. And obviously, they're not hurting. They don't have tens of millions of dollars in the bank account. They're kind of bootstrapping this in essence to rebuild this car. And God bless them. So it's kind of neat to see that. That's me personally, I guess. That's the content I prefer to watch. Something that, again, is educational. I learned something to watch it. Because, one, hey, someday, God willing, I get my hands on one. I want to know how to repair some of this stuff. Because, again, kind of going back to my earlier statement in regards to labor rates, you know what? If you can fix it yourself, you can save yourself a ton of money. Because working on cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsche, that it ain't cheap when you send it to a dealer or just a mechanic or anything like that. Again, kind of going back to Mr. Hoover, Tyler Hoover stuff. He's had a few Ferraris go through his hands. He had that 355 famously that burnt to the ground, and he made that statement just in this recent video that kind of really kind of blew up and made his channel take off in regards to it, because it's like everyone, I guess, wanted to see misery. I don't know. Then he has that 456 that he had bought that was on Car Track, but he bought it from the Middle East or from Dubai or something like that. But I think he's on his third engine rebuild. But what I like with him, what he does, I watch Tyler's stuff. I do. I watch his stuff. It's interesting, but it's kind of, I don't know, I'd say interesting, but it's kind of a head scratcher. You built this big old channel because basically all it is, he goes, finds a POS of whatever, gets it home somehow, either drives it up to, or he gets it dumped off at the Car Wizard, Omega Auto Clinic. Then they start going, he fixes it. Tyler comes in periodically. What you go on? What'd you do? Oh, you did this one. This and that. Because he always has multiple cars in there. He shows him the bill, whips out the card, and pays for it. And a lot of stuff's not cheap. But it's interesting because they go through everything right down the line on the bill, which I did. I really like to see, because that's reality right there in regards to cost and everything. That's what it took. If you bought one and you have actually no mechanical wherewithal and you send it somewhere and get it done and looking at it. Now, hopefully you do a little more research on the car before you buy it, unless you have a YouTube channel and you're like, I bought the cheapest blah, 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 and I'm just going to go and throw a bunch of money at things and do it that way. So, and again, hey, that 456, and by the way, very underrated, fantastic car, front engine, V12, obviously get a factory manual, but you can do a swap on it as well. Big touring coupe, very underrated. I mean, not the best looking, but still, it's not a bad car, but it's a lot of fun. Great car, got that. And then he has that Testarossa as well. What is that? Did he buy a 308, 320? He's got a couple of them. So he gets these things, and God bless him. He keeps cranking out, and obviously he gets other brands and stuff like that. But again, what I like about that, it's realistic in regards to what it's going to cost and take to get that repaired. So he shows it, which is awesome. Do other people? No. I kind of went off topic there. But again, going back to these people that buy a pristine car, they order a brand new one, and they were on the list, and they got able to get access, And when there's a will, there's a way. You could buy whatever. It's just that, you just got to think outside the box a bit. Those are other ones that are annoying. Again, no concept of reality, cost, price, anything. Oh, we got 50 cars and we got this and kudos, but there's a better way to approach it. I'm going to call out Mr. Steve Hamilton because he is a great, great guy. Super nice. I met him in, what's his other guy's name in it that helps him and does all the videos with them. I can't think about the top of my head. But anyways, that's a guy that built everything ground up, everything like that. I had the opportunity to meet them last year at the Triple F Collections, the event, which sadly, due to their mother's passing, they're not having it this year, possibly in 2026. But that's a whole nother story to talk about. Those guys are super nice too. I met them at Moda last year. Very, very nice. Super nice family. The old man's fantastic. Great people. So it's kind of sad to see them go away. But anyways, back to Steve Hamilton. We'll come back to Triple F. But anyway, Steve Hamilton. At his shows, he actually opens up the cars, lets people sit in them, everything like that, take pictures. There was massive lines for all this, the Pagani he had, and what was it, the Bugatti, everything like that, to be able to sit in them. So that is super cool. I mean, that's awesome. That's a guy that knows where he came from, respects it, and look, hey, it's a car. It's a beautiful car. It's a fast car. But, hey, let other people get that chance, because you cannot go into a dealership and just kind of poke around and say, hey, can I sit in that? Hey, can I sit in that? You know, they're going to be like, no. Can you buy it? Can you afford it? You know, that kind of thing. He lets you get in the car, so which is really cool. So kudos to Steve. He doesn't do things where he's buying the cheapest this, that, whatever. He spends a lot of money on cars, that's for sure. But, you know, the way he goes about sharing it is brilliant. So kudos to Mr. Hamilton. Shout out to you, Steve. Yeah, kind of side note on the Triple F guys. I don't know if everyone was kind of watching those guys from the beginning or that, but back in the day, the family had it was a plastics business. I don't know if it was injection molding or whatnot, but they built themselves a massive plastic business, something in the plastic industry. I don't know what. I never really didn't delve into it too far. And they sold it for over $1 billion to some entity. You know, how much after that they net, I don't know. But they sold that for over $1 billion. I need to take a sip of my Diet Mountain Dew. And this is not paid endorsement, but I thrive on this stuff. You know, it's kind of a bad habit, but you got to have a habit. So anyways, the Triple F guys, they decided to start accumulate these cars, started the YouTube channel. Everything was great. They built this. Well, the old man built a massive house, but they already had other houses because they were pretty wealthy to start with having that plastic. So they were doing well. They had, you know, some nice cars, stuff like that. Sadly, you know, their mom was battling breast cancer for quite a few years, and then she passed last year, and it really, really, you know, decimated those guys. Going through that myself, but my mother passed away very suddenly back in 2017. It's a huge blow. As someone that's, you know, obviously very important in your life, you lean on, you get strength from, you get support from. They finally released a video the other day, and one of the Frecka boys did it. I'm trying to remember. It's the older one, about, yeah, hey, they've been laying low, and this is why, and that they're probably changing direction. Who knows? Channel come back in some shape or form. You know, their event was really cool. They did the event because they did it to raise money for Make-A-Wish. I'm a big supporter of Make-A-Wish. But, you know, they had some really cool stuff. Now, they were more McLaren-centric with a lot of their stuff, and Pagani, that kind of stuff. Not really so much Ferrari. I wish it would have been a little more Ferrari, but, you know, hey. But they have a really beautiful 458, which I know they love because they all of a sudden come back to, oh, my God, why don't we drive this more? It sounds great, da, da, da. And I agree, because if you ever have the chance or opportunity to buy a 458, get one, put some pipes on, everything like that. That thing is glorious. The last naturally aspirated V8 they've created, so it's beautiful. But anyways, I kind of got off on a tangent here. But again, like the Triple F boys, you know, how they go about doing it, you know, like they're doing their events is great. So there's people out there that do it correctly. They don't try and bait you. But again, it's clickbait. It's getting these people to watch your video. That's what you want. It just drives me nuts with what a lot of these people do in regards to it, because it's just a lie. It's a blatant lie, misinformation, whatnot. But again, you got to get people to watch your videos, right? Anyway, I'm going to sign off here for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I kind of just babbled about things. It was more about venting and about people just on YouTube that just make blatant, stupid lies in regards to making statements. And I'm sure you'll figure out ones I was speaking about that I didn't name drop, but it is what it is. But again, guys, really appreciate you listening. Stay tuned. Have another episode next week. Don't know yet what I'm going to talk about. A lot of interesting stuff going on in the collector car market in regards to higher end stuff, race cars, what have you. So stay tuned next week, because that's what we're going to be discussing. Appreciate it, guys. Later.
This episode has been brought to you by Grand Touring Motorsports as part of our Motoring Podcast Network. For more episodes like this, tune in each week for more exciting and educational content from organizations like the Exotic Car Marketplace, the Motoring Historian, Break Fix, and many others. If you'd like to support Grand Touring Motorsports and the Motoring Podcast Network, sign up for one of our many sponsorship tiers at www.patreon.com/GT Motorsports. Please note that the content, opinions, and materials presented and expressed in this episode are those of its creator, and this episode has been published with their consent. If you have any inquiries about this program, please contact the creators of this episode via email or social media as mentioned in the episode.